chapter is everything that we've been doing, you have done before since freshman year. In chapter 2, we've been solving equations, solving inequalities, but we presented our solutions differently by stepping up our game, advancing our algebra, by going to set notation and interval notation. Well, there isn't really anything that you can do about graphing that's different than graphing, and there isn't really anything different that you can do about graphing linear inequalities in two variables. Okay, so hopefully all of this stuff will be familiar to you as we go. All right, so the first thing we got to talk about is those solid and dotted lines. So when you graph inequalities, if you have a less than or a greater than, you need to make sure that the line on your graph is going to be dotted, or if you prefer the word dashed, you may use the word dashed line. Okay, so just like when we had parentheses for not including a number, we're going to use dotted lines. And just like when we used a bracket for equals to, we're going to use a solid line. So if you have the equals to bar in your inequality sign, make sure your line is solid. And this is silly points that students always lose points on because they don't pay attention to whether they should be making their line dotted or solid. Okay? All right, we're just going to do 2 examples, and then pause, and then do the in-class worksheet. This won't take very long. Example number 1. I'll give you a second to get yourself set up. We've got 3x plus 2y greater than or equal to 6. Going to make a quick lazy graph. I'd go at least 6 units in all directions. Try and make your units even. That's always the hardest part. All right, so if I had to graph that, would you find x and y intercepts, or would you solve for y? Yeah, x and y intercepts, because they're pretty nice. What is your x-intercept? 2, right? Our cover-up method. Get rid of that. Divide by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So I'm going to put a dot at 2 on my x-axis. My y-intercept is going to be 3. Is it going to be a solid or a dotted line?
Solid.
Solid. So do your best to get a solid line going through there. Now, because it's an inequality, it's going to be a range of points. So we're going to do some shading. So I need to decide, well, where's my shading going to be? Is it going to be to the right or above? Or is it going to be to the left or the below? So method number 1, pick a tester point. A smart tester point is always the origin, 0, 0. So if I plug in 0 for x and I plug in 0 for y, when it's already in standard form, I end up with 0 is greater than or equal to 6, which is false. So that means 0, 0 is not in the solution set. So that means I want to shade on the other side, which would get me up here. Okay? So your answer is the shaded region on your graph. And there's no way to write your answer other than there's my graph with the shaded region. Okay? All right. Let's do another one. Number 2. X minus 3y is less than 4. Give you a second to get a quick lazy XY axis set up. Again, go, well, I only need about 5 in every directions, but whatever feels good. Okay, if we went with intercepts, what's my x-intercept? 4. So I'm going to put a dot at 4 on my x-axis. What's my y-intercept going to be?
1/3, well,
Negative 1 1/3, negative 4 divided by 3, right? So negative 1 1/3, so just eyeball it. Where you think it would be. Solid or dotted line? Dotted. Good. Oh goodness, that was not very straight. Hopefully yours is better than mine. Tester point. Whenever any of these are in standard form, 0, 0 is awesome. Is 0 less than 4?
Yes.
Yes. So that means I want to shade where 0, 0 lies, which means we're going to shade above. Now, just for fun and practice, because there's going to be 2 on your homework, or not your homework, your classwork that you're going to get, where you get an x and y intercept of 0, which means you don't get 2 points on your graph. So let's quickly practice solving this for y, because my y term has a negative in front of it, so when I end up dividing by -3, what am I going to have to do with my sign? I'm going to have to flip it. So if I practice solving that really quickly and minus my x from both sides, then we get -3y less than -x plus 4. Then when I divide everything by -3, I get y is greater than 1/3 x minus 4/3. Okay? So if you have to end up solving, so for example, if it was something like this, let me think for a second, -3y less than or equal to 5x, and I divide by -3, then I get y is greater than or equal to -5/3 x. What would be your y-intercept? You would start at 0 and then go down 5/3, right? Okay. All right, questions? Qualities. So what words do we use for compounding qualities again?
Less than.
And or.
Or. Very good. Less than would just be any inequality, not specifically compound inequalities. So remember, for an and compound inequality, we are looking for the intersection of the 2 inequalities. So just like when we were doing it on the number line, we were looking to see where our arrows overlapped, right? And that represented our solution set. Well, the same thing applies when we're doing inequalities. Okay, so I'll give you a second to get yourself set up. We have one inequality of 2x plus 4y is greater than or equal to 5, and x is greater than or equal to 1. So this is an and compound inequality. I'm going to make a quick lazy graph, about 5 units in all directions. That should be good enough. So that means I'm looking for the intersection of the 2. All right, because it's in standard form for the first one, I would just go ahead and find my x and y intercepts. They're not very nice, but that's okay. We can deal with it and just kind of eyeball where we think it's going to be. My x-intercept, if I cover up the 4y, is going to be what? 2.5, 2.5. So put a dot at 2.5 on your x-axis. And my y-intercept is at 1.25. So eyeball where you think that would be. This is going to be a solid or a dotted line. Solid. Do people say that's solid anymore? Is that a thing? All right, so now, if we were in Algebra 1 as freshmen, I would have you guys all get out really pretty colored pencils, and we shade, this red, and then we do the other one and shade it blue, and then look to see where it becomes purple, right? Well, we're not there. We're now seniors. So we're going to attempt to do this without doing unnecessary shading. So without trying to do unnecessary shading, here's my cheat. If I plug in 0, 0, do I get true or false? False. So I want to shade above. So I'm just going to do little tiny arrows that point above to remind me that I want the area above that line. Now x equals 1 is a vertical line going through my x-axis at 1. It's going to be a solid line because of the equals 2. And if I want everything greater than 1, I'm going to go to the right side of that line. So now I want to look which region. So notice I kind of have 4 regions. I have this top right, top left, bottom right. Which region would be the intersection? Top right. To the right and above. Right? So that's my solution. Region. Anything that falls within there. Okay? Now let's do the same graph as an OR. So just make another quick X and Y axis. We're going to change it to an OR. So we're going to do the same lines. So we already know what it's supposed to look like. So that was the intersection of those 2 inequalities. Now let's do the union. So now remember, unions, like a marriage, you bring one thing from one partner, another thing from another partner, and you take all the baggage with it. Okay? Same thing applies here. You're going to take all of the shaded region of one inequality, take in all the shaded region of another inequality, and that's going to be your total solution area. So if we graph that first one again, 2.5 on my x-axis, 1 1/4 on my y-axis, solid line. We knew we were shading above. Vertical line at x equals 1. We knew we were shading to the right.
Everywhere but that bottom left.
So it's going to be everywhere except this bottom left intersection, right? Because I'm doing the union. So I'm doing everything from the first inequality and everything for the second inequality. So it's everything but this. Okay? So ORs, you shade everything but where they would not intersect, I guess. That seemed a little bit counterintuitive. The ands, you're looking for the intersections. Okay? All right, let's do our 2 special cases. Are we ready? All right, special case number 1. We've got x plus y is greater than or equal to 4, and x plus y is less than -3. Make a quick lazy graph. What are my x and y intercepts for the first inequality? 4 and 4. Solid or dotted? Solid. Where am I going to shade? Above or below it? Above, because 0 is not greater than 4. So I'm just going to put quick little arrows. Next one, my x-intercept and my y-intercept are at -3. It's going to be a dotted line. Where am I going to shade?
Below. No, wait.
Below it.
Is it because
Well, 0 is not less than -3. 0 is above the dotted line, right? So it's going to be everything below. Is this an and or an or inequality?
Or.
Whoa.
It is an and, though it looks like an or, right? So because it's an and, is there a solution to this? So what do we say if there is no intersection? No solution. If this was an or, then you could shade the top and the bottom, right? Okay, and the only thing really quickly, what would happen if I changed this to an or and I flipped my signs? Just watch, you don't put this in your notes. So that means I would shade everything above the dotted line and shade everything below this. That would be everywhere, right? All real numbers. Good. All right.